Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Foreigner Footy Files. I'm Natalia Pinkney, and this is episode 3, where we're going to talk about the Women's Soccer Combine. Finally. So, as y'all know, here in this space, on this podcast with me, we usually refer to this sport as football, but as the combine is called Women's Soccer Combine, the S word will be thrown around a little bit, and we're going to give it a pass this time. So this week we're going to get into the experience of the combine, not just for myself as a surprise guest participant and also a support to the staff, but also for the amazing young women who had the opportunity to participate in the first ever women's soccer combine. So this combine was hosted by Danny and Flo. Shout out to y'all for letting me be a part of this experience. And also shout out to the young women who took the chance, showed up, and made this possible for all of us included. So I had the honor and opportunity to speak to some of these young women that participated in the combine, and we got into their personal history with football, their experience with the combine, and just some other general thoughts on women's football as a whole. So shout out to those young women for taking the time to meet with me, to answer my questions, and also it was just a beautiful excuse to have a bit of a reunion, even if it's over Zoom. It's just nice to see those faces again, hear their voices, and catch up. So feeling blessed to have that opportunity to, expose our experiences and share our side of the story of what things like this are like in real time, in real life. So thank you, ladies. I really appreciate your time. All right, so after speaking with those young women and doing the interviews with them, it really made me think, this combine would have meant so much to me had I had this opportunity coming straight out the gate when I graduated all those years ago in 2017 and looking to expand my career professionally and moving up in the ladder. And this is something that I think just will revolutionize the experience for young women who are looking to continue their careers. Not even just young women, I mean women, closer to 30 like me who just don't feel like their time is done yet and they've still got something left in the tank and in their heart to play football at a high level. And experiences like this are so life-changing. And I just know that if I would have had something like this around, or at least the knowledge of something like this around when I had graduated looking to expand myself and move higher up, I would have jumped at it. I mean, we'll get into it next week in the next episode when I finally delve into the first folder of Australia, but I did take a risk. I jumped overseas and went for it, but in a completely different fashion. It was all for one team, all eggs in one basket, just completely throwing caution to the wind and saying, this is my passion, this is what I want to do. And I'm hoping and praying that all my hard work works out and that the team wants me just as much as I want them. So this combine, being able to step into it kind of from an outside perspective. So me already being signed, going into the combine just as kind of there for support and then kind of incidentally being a part of it in terms of participating and playing, but having that outside looking in to say, wow, this is so nice. This is exactly what it should be like for young women everywhere to be able to have an outreach, an outlet to extend an arm and a hand and say, hey, this isn't the end of the line. College doesn't have to be the end for you. Semi-pro doesn't have to be the end for you. If you want to make it to higher levels, there are opportunities, and it can just put your name out there in the pot. Like these young women and I had said in the interview clips, you just need to step into the opportunity and then your name's known. Like no one can take that back from you. It's real. You did it. And now those young women, their names are known in Germany, in Western Germany anyway. And football's a small world, so word's going to get around. And that's all it takes is just one chance, taking a big risk and putting yourself out there. And I feel if I had something like this to walk into post-college, it would have just completely changed the trajectory of my overseas professional experience. And I don't regret anything. I have gained so much knowledge and culture and love and made so many new connections in the way that I've gone about coming to my time in Europe. But that being said, it would be completely false to try and act like I wouldn't have liked to skip a few steps and a bit of the headaches to get to where I am now just a bit quicker, because I did take 5 years to get here. So these girls, young women, having the opportunity to come here sooner is just, it's amazing to see. And I think that it's just such a game changer for people's careers in the future. And I hope that this is something that continues to grow, that I hope I can continue to be a part of, so that young women, older women, women in general have the opportunity to play at high levels overseas. And especially as a Black woman being a foreign overseas and a woman of color, opportunities like this kind of even the playing field a little bit, because when you think of agents and you think of the showcases and the one-time calls to invitations for, playing in the NWSL as an American, a lot of the time minorities, I don't even like to use the word minorities, Black women, women of color, we don't get the same opportunities, point blank. It's just factual and statistical. Y'all can look it up. But something like this kind of puts it in a more even playing field where you got Instagram, you got email, you got social media, really for real. You can put yourself out there and you can get yourself into the opportunity to get seen by coaches at high levels in Europe. As an American, it is so huge to think that I could have been here 5 years ago had something like this been around. So it's career changing. And I really hope that I'm blessed enough to have the opportunity to help more young women get to where I am and even higher, because it's just such a shame to see so much talent going to waste because of politics, lack of resources, lack of financial support, all the things that come into play when it means dropping everything and wanting to play pro overseas. So I think my career would be very different had this been around, but I'm also grateful that I got here the way that I did, because now that I'm going to be a part of opportunities like this, I can use my experience and my background to kind of also give another perspective to show the appreciation, the grit, the fight that it takes to continue this type of lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle. It's a career choice. It's a different path. It's non-traditional. And having something like this available at technically your fingertips with social media is just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So with that being said, I did take the time to Google some information on combines, if they exist, where they exist, and there ain't much, y'all. I took some time, I did some Googles, I did some searching, and there's really not a lot out there. So I'm just gonna let y'all know what I found, and it's kind of upsetting. So I did some searches. I found really only 2 sources overseas in Europe for quote unquote combine experiences and opportunities. And one of the experiences that I found, I ain't name dropping none of these agencies because, first of all, technically it's competition, as I will be working with the women's soccer combine, but also this is not free advertisement. Anyway, so one of the sites that I found, they have experiences for minimum 1 month long, up to a maximum of 5 months for a combine here in Germany. And it also, when I was looking at their page to try and figure out where in Germany it was even taking place. From first glance, without you having to fill out surveys or adding in email information, answering all their questions, it didn't even tell me where in Germany this combine was being held. So it's just so interesting that it's, first of all, you're having something at a minimum of 1 month, and that kind of really cuts out a lot of opportunities for people who aren't European or aren't German to come here for something like that, because you can ask the young women and, hit my DMs if y'all got questions for them. We can do some follow-ups, but even just the 10-day combine, they had work, they had school, they had a family, they had responsibilities that they dropped temporarily to come out here for the opportunity to put themselves out there and get seen by coaches. So for your opportunity as a combine to be 1 month minimum amount of time, that is so long. I mean, even for me living here in Germany, thinking about how I had my Winterpause from beginning of December to around like mid-January, end of January, and I'm thinking those 2 months flew by, but also was so much time. And if I had a job back in America that I had to get back to, I do have a pet. If I had a pet or kids that I had left at home, if I had loved ones or just things that were not settled or finished, and you're expecting me to drop all that for even 5 months of a time for a combine just to sign with a team, I don't know, just for me as a foreigner, it just felt very non-foreigner friendly. So that was just how I personally felt about this one agency that I found that does combines here in Germany. Also, mind you, this is not just for women. This was a mix of genders for this combine. There's also another combine that I found, again, not dropping names because this is not free advertisement, but their opportunity was players come directly with the clubs for 30 days. So the combine themselves, they have opportunities and connections with clubs personally, and so they're sending players directly to work with the club for 30 days, which again, a month. And not taking away from the fact that the more time you have, that the more exposure you have, the more you can develop. All of those things are absolutely true. Absolutely true. At the same time, 30 days, y'all? Like a month? As a foreigner trying to think about, do I have a month to drop? We got bills, y'all. We got car payments. We got rent due. Everything's expensive. Inflation is real, and y'all expecting people to drop everything for minimum a month. It's just mind-blowing, and it just shows just how not friendly the experience is for foreigners. And also this experience was also mixed gendered as well, so not only women were involved in this. So reading further into the second combine experience that I was looking into, going directly to the club sounded like such a great opportunity because cool, it's direct exposure. But then I looked deeper, and the competition in matches was not guaranteed. How you not going to guarantee that I'm going to be playing in matches in front of this team? That is where you're showing the most of what you can do in games. And you're not even going to guarantee that in the time of me being here for minimum a month that I'm going to play a game? You can't guarantee me game time as exposure in front of these coaches? It just feels so incomplete and just, I don't know. As a player, doing the combine and playing 2 games within 10 days felt like so much exposure for these young women to be able to show these coaches what they can do, not only in a practice setting for the coaches that, came to the practices, but also in the game setting. So you're seeing small side and full field. Those changes in dynamics are super important. So to see that you're going to ask me to come out for that much time and you can't even guarantee me a competition in a match, get real. I don't know how I feel about that. Very much judging. And like I said, as far as I can see, this is just the extent of the quick amount of research that I did. I can obviously do a bit more research, but there's like no women's only combines in Germany. The only other place that I saw for a women's only football combine was in Vermont. And the combine in Vermont, they had a connection to overseas, so it wasn't only in America, but it just felt so incomplete. All of these the research that I did and looking into the different combines and what they offered, and there's just so many holes that if you're asking me to drop bread to come, you're asking me to put my responsibilities on hold, everything that I've been working for, to take a risk for an opportunity for my future, and you can't guarantee me game time. You can't even tell me where it's going to be held. You're asking me to drop everything for minimum a month, and I'm mixed in with men, which mixing the combines with men is not the problem. It's just the fact that women don't have enough spaces for ourselves as is to get exposure, to be focused on, to have investments, for people to want to put the time and money into women's football. And then there's not even combines that can focus just on us. So you've got the combination of men and women in a combine, and then you can't even guarantee me the staples of what should be included into a football combine. It felt very disappointing and discouraging, but then at the same time, it also gave me hope because now I can see how important this combine is that I had the beautiful opportunity to be a part of. Like, none of these opportunities that I looked into gave a multifaceted experience in Europe firsthand. And the combine that we did here in Saarbrücken did exactly that. It gave that firsthand exposure to not just the football side of, okay, this is the style that you're going to be trialing to play a part of potentially in the future. German football, right? So you're going to be coached by German coaches. You're going to be doing drills that are going to be done here. You're going to play against German teams. So the football side is directly jumping into German style. On the other hand, you have to think people are going to be uprooting their entire lives to come over here and live in your country and play your style, they need to be acclimated. There needs to be a level of synergy between their past lifestyle and their current lifestyle to be able to create a comfort, to be integrated into an entirely new culture, a new place, a new language. And that's something that I feel that this combine did such a beautiful job at. Like, we gave exposure to the football, but also the social side and the practical aspects of what it takes to uproot everything and start over in a new place that is scary, it's intimidating, it's overwhelming, but it's also beautiful. But if you're not properly prepared for all the aspects of what this lifestyle takes, you can really fall through. And it's kind of scary to think about these combines are offering these great opportunities and you're dropping thousands of euros to come over and give everything a shot in this one opportunity, this risk. And they're not even teaching you what it's like to grocery shop, how it is to get around. I mean, as an American, public transport is not our thing, y'all. I don't know if you've ever been to the States, but we don't be doing that public transportation stuff. Like, we're very much a driving country. So you come to some place like Germany, where my main forms of transportation are foot, train, tram, and bus. And unless I have a teammate or a friend that's got a car, I don't really be in the car that much. And so having to adjust to go from driving everywhere to having to learn public transport systems is huge. And so being able to speak to these young women firsthand and let them know, this is how I get around, be prepared for this, get yourself a bus card, understand the layout of where you're living, because you can't just rely on driving everywhere with maps. You might have to walk sometimes. Roads are closed, things change, bus schedules can change. You better have those apps, okay, of where you're living. Learn what grocery stores are worth going to, which aren't. Learn, Aldi versus Lidl, those types of small things where it all matters. It's bigger than just the football. It is going to be your life. So it's just heartbreaking to not find more opportunities that have better exposure and experiences for young women and only young women. But it's also encouraging to know that I got the opportunity to be a part of something that's going to expand on that and show all the multifaceted parts of what it means to take the risk and play professional football overseas. So that was just a bit of what I was able to find, or I guess lack thereof, in information for combines overseas. So not to toot the own horn of the combine, but I'm tooting horns, y'all. We did the thing, and I think it's just a great precedent for what the future of the combine can be, will be, should be, and needs to be for women's football. All right, now it's time for I Wish I Knew That. So, I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that you're not limited to just throwing caution at the wind and giving everything you have to one team. I wish I knew that I could be vetted by multiple teams and I could have options, and that it was a two-way street. It's not just about going to a team and begging and hoping and praying that they want you because you so desperately want your dream to come true. You also get to choose them. And I wish I knew that information. I wish I knew that it was a two-way street, that it's not about the teams only picking you. You get to pick them too. Without you, there is no them. Without them, there is no you, right? So it's a complementative relationship. And I just really wish that I knew that before I left home. It's not about me just selling myself to these people who have so much power to make or break my career. It's also, I have the power to turn them down. I am able to say, this isn't a fit for me. This isn't what I want. I don't want to play for you. And it's not always a petty thing. Sometimes it's just the chemistry is not there. And so I just really wish that I knew that I could pick them just as much as they could pick me. And yeah, I think that more women need to take that into consideration when you're dropping everything to play overseas. Two-way street, y'all. They need you just as much as you need them. Maybe more. No, probably more, because without you, they ain't got a job. So, all right. And next segment, trust me on this one. So, trust me on this one. Take the risk. take the risk. I will definitely get into it more in the next episode, talking about how I took that risk and left everything. But do it. If there's an opportunity and you find it, whether it's social media, word of mouth from a coach, first of all, do your research, okay? Make sure it's legit before you be throwing your monies at folks, because there are a lot of scams. Some things are too good to be true. So don't take anything at face value. I guess that's also a little bit of a trust me on this one. Don't take things at face value. Do your research. Find out what's true and what's false. But take the risk. Sometimes you just need to put your foot in the front door or bust that jaunt down, step into the scene and say, I'm here and this is what I have to offer, and you're welcome for it. And it may not always work out the first time or the second time, the third time. But if the drive is in your heart, if it's still in your soul, if you feel it's something that you need to be doing, it's just an injustice to you as a person and the woman that you've grown to be in this sport, and you want to take the next step, go for it. You will literally never know if you're good enough, if you could have made it, if you don't try to in the first place. So as scary as it can be, do your research, get all your ins and outs, dot your I's, cross your T's, P's and Q's, everything included. And if you feel it, it's an opportunity that's legit, worth your money, worth your time, and you can do it responsibly, go for it. Absolutely go for it. It is worth it. I can firsthand tell you that I don't regret a single thing of just getting myself out there, because I am where I am today because I took that risk. So take it, do it. It's scary, it's terrifying. But remember, you're not alone. This podcast is here for you. Your teammates are there for you. Most likely you won't be the only foreigner. Usually there's about one or two, so you will not be alone. Connect with people. Make yourself available to others to know what you have to offer. So the world is better for you to show us what you got. And we're all just here waiting for it. So do it. Believe in yourself. Absolutely do it. All right, y'all, that does it for this episode of Foreigner Footy Files. Thank you again for your time, for listening, coming here with me and the young women that I had the wonderful opportunity of interviewing. And you can leave some comments and reviews for, I believe, I'm not sure about Apple Podcasts and Spotify, how their comments and reviews work. But if you can leave a review, please do. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what can be improved. Let me know what you think. I am here. I'm open-minded. I'm just trying to grow. So episode after episode, I'm going to ask y'all for reviews and comments. So leave them, because I'm going to ask every time. And then, of course, rates. Y'all better be rating this junk. 5 stars only. It's the only answer I'm accepting. Just kidding. Be honest. But also 5 stars. Thank you in advance. And I hope that we can continue to grow together, to learn together. As I said, next week we're going to be getting into the first folder of Foreigner Footy Files, the first official folder of Australia. And we're going to get into the beginning file of what it was like for me to leave home, take that huge risk and jump, and literally go all the way across the world to Australia and begin this dream of playing women's professional football overseas. So join me next week as we get into the official beginning of my story and my journey. And I look forward to hearing from you guys and growing with you, learning with you. We all here together. So join me next week and let's kick it together. Bye, y'all.